Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Now, let's get right back into the story. Ayaan and Zoya stood at the edge of a vast, open plain. The air was still, the grass swaying in a silent breeze. In the distance, the Obsidian Tower rose, a sharp, dark spear against the pale sky. It looked impossibly far, a monument of shadow that seemed to drink the light around it. Zoya shielded her eyes, her gaze fixed on the menacing structure. "So this is the place he wants us to reach," she said, her voice a low murmur against the quiet of the plains. Ayaan shook his head, his own eyes narrowed. "Or the place he thinks will stop us." As he spoke, the intricate mark on his arm began to pulse with a faint, ethereal light, a soft glow against his skin. Zoya glanced down at her own hand, where a matching mark mirrored his, its light strengthening in response. "It's reacting," she breathed, touching the glowing pattern with her fingertips. It's alive." A low hum suddenly filled the air, a vibration that started in the soles of their feet and resonated deep in their chests. It was a sound that felt older than the wind, deeper than the earth. Ayaan scanned the horizon, his hand instinctively moving towards the hilt of his blade. "I don't like this silence," he muttered, his senses on high alert. The hum grew louder, more insistent, and then the ground beneath them shifted. It wasn't a violent quake, but a smooth, deliberate reshaping of the land. The earth buckled and rose, forming a perfect circular arena around them. Zoya gasped, her eyes wide. "Ayaan, look!" Before they could react, tall stone walls erupted from the ground, soaring into the sky and enclosing them completely, sealing off the horizon and the distant tower. They were trapped. Ayaan clenched his jaw, remembering the Shadow King's promise. He said there would be a test, as if summoned by his words. A familiar voice echoed from all around them, calm, deep, and chillingly resonant. "Welcome to the test of courage." The voice belonged to the Shadow King, though he was nowhere to be seen. Zoya looked up, her gaze sweeping across the top of the stone walls, searching for the source. "Why not just fight us?" she called out, her voice defiant. "Why all this theater?" The Shadow King's disembodied voice chuckled, a sound like grinding stone. "Because fear," he replied, his tone laced with ancient malice, "breaks stronger spirits than shadows ever could." The air inside the arena began to shimmer, distorting like a heat haze on a summer road. The world warped, and in a blinding flash, Zoya vanished. Ayaan spun around, his heart lurching in his chest. "Zoya?" he yelled, his voice echoing off the stone walls. There was no answer. The arena, the walls, the open sky, it all dissolved. He found himself standing in a place he knew all too well, the dusty, forgotten attic from the very beginning of his journey. Moonlight streamed through the single grimy window, illuminating dancing dust motes. A wave of exhaustion and frustration washed over him. "Not this again," he groaned, running a hand through his hair. The illusion was perfect, down to the last cobweb, the last forgotten trinket. A disembodied whisper slithered through the air, echoing the Shadow King's cruel tone. "You failed her once." The attic faded, and Ayaan was suddenly standing on the bank of the raging river from his past. He watched in horror as the scene played out again, a perfect, painful recreation of his memory. He saw Zoya, swept away by the current, her hand reaching for his. He saw his own hesitation, the choice he had been forced to make. Ayaan clenched, his fist so tightly his knuckles turned white. He squeezed his eyes shut, refusing to be broken by the memory. "That wasn't my failure," he said, his voice hard and clear, cutting through the phantom roar of the water. "It was my choice, a choice to save others." The moment he spoke those words, the entire scene fractured, cracking like a pane of glass and shattering into a million shimmering pieces. Meanwhile, Zoya found herself plunged into absolute darkness. She stood in a cold, empty field under a starless sky. The silence was profound, pressing in on her from all sides. Ayaan, she called out, her voice small and lost in the void. A figure materialized from the shadows in front of her. It was a young girl, her face pale with fright, her eyes wide with a familiar terror. It was her, a younger, more frightened version of herself. "You're always scared," the young Zoya whispered, her voice trembling. "You run." From everything, Zoya looked at her younger self, at the fear she had carried for so long. She saw the truth in the apparition's words, but she also saw how far she had come. She slowly knelt, bringing herself to eye level with the phantom child. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice soft but steady. "I'm always scared, but I still move forward," as she accepted her fear, not as a weakness but as a part of her. A brilliant, warm light burst from her hands, engulfing the small, frightened figure. The darkness shattered, and her world fell apart just as Ayaan's had. The arena returned. The stone walls stood tall and solid. The sky above them was real. Ayaan and Zoya were standing side by side once more, breathing heavily. He turned to her immediately, his eyes filled with concern. "You okay?" Zoya gave a shaky nod, a determined smile touching her lips. "Yeah, you..." Ayaan managed a small, tired smile of his own. Still standing, they had both faced their deepest fears and refused to break. The Shadow King's voice returned, but this time the calm amusement was gone, replaced by a cold, sharp edge. "Interesting," he boomed. "Very few pass this far." As he spoke, the marks on their arms flared to life, shining with an intense, brilliant light that pushed back the gloom. The light was so bright it was almost blinding, a beacon of defiance in the heart of the Shadow King's domain. A faint, shimmering glow began to form in the air between them, connecting the light from their marks. And then another voice, warm and familiar, whispered through the light. It was Rumi. "Courage is not the absence of fear," his voice echoed, full of wisdom and kindness. "It is choosing others over that fear." A genuine smile spread across Ayaan's face. "That sounds like him," he said, relief and warmth flooding through him. Zoya nodded, her own eyes shining. "He's still guiding us," as if in response to their renewed hope. The massive stone walls of the arena began to crack, fissures spread across their surface like lightning, and with a deafening groan, the walls crumbled into dust, revealing the path forward. The Obsidian Tower stood before them, no longer a distant threat but an imminent destination. The path was clear. The Shadow King's voice echoed one last time, a final, chilling invitation. "Come then, the final choice awaits." Ayaan looked at Zoya, his expression serious, a silent promise passing between them. "No matter what happens," he began. Zoya finished his sentence without hesitation, her voice firm and unwavering. "We face it together." Together, they turned and began to walk down the path toward the looming tower, the light from their marks growing stronger with every step, a shared flame against the encroaching darkness. What an incredible chapter! They passed the test, but the final choice still awaits them at the Obsidian Tower. What do you think the Shadow King has planned? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.